Hello, I am Carolyn Jamerson. I'm the collections manager and mount maker for the FIDM Museum. I am also a FIDM alumni. I graduated in 2007 and 2008 from the fashion design program and the theater costume. I was part of 2008's debut show, which our theme was Moulin Rouge, and so my character had a 7-foot windmill on the back of her, and overall the different characters I was able to do, it was in many ways a highlight of my life to be able to participate in that. And now I'm back at school. I'm finishing up my 4-year degree, and so I'm what has been called a triple threat. I am a student, I am an alumni, and I am an employee at FIDM. So taking that into consideration, I'm here to answer some of the questions, which were amazing and very interesting to be asked a lot of these different questions and fun to ask. But I'm also here to show you how to make this very practical, I think multi-generational, in the sense of its usefulness to everybody. I think it's something kids can do, particularly with the help of their parents. And I think it's something that adults could have fun doing and exploring their creativity. And as far as students, what better way to have fun while we're trapped here in quarantine? And just wait to stay inside. All the things I have are stuff that hopefully you have at home. The paper is a little bit more heavier weight is what I recommend. I use file folders. Colorful file folders is what I've used to create these. Some of them I use just regular copy paper, and so it's just whatever paper you have laying around, but I've seen somewhere they use felt, which really creates a nice density, and you can use what you have. Aluminum foil even, I think, would create really fun silver flowers. So this is, as far as material goes, it's what you have at home, and that's what we had kind of in mind as a very practical, creative, fun, pretty project for everyone to do. So taking that into consideration, you're going to start with pattern pieces. For the bottom level, it's 5 pattern pieces that you need to cut out. For the middle level, it's 4, and the top, it's 3. And somebody asked, are these easy to do? Yes, they're ridiculously easy to do. It's just a matter of cutting and sewing. Cutting. I'm used to sewing. Cutting and gluing, and then putting everything together. It may take a little bit of patience, particularly for the first one, as far as they are a little bit tedious, particularly the cutting out, which I've already done so that this video is short. And so we're going to start with the pattern piece, and it's very vital to have this little slit at the center. And so I'm going to recommend you I use hot glue because it's really quick and easy. You can use whatever glue because I understand hot glue can be hot. And so not as conducive for children, but it is quick too. So putting it on the proper left side of that slit, put a little drop, and then you fold the proper right side over. Now the level in which you fold it over determines the angle in which it folds up. So these are I'm doing the middle row, so I want those to fold up more. Now I recommend for the bottom one to kind of lay them out a little bit more flat so that they have room for the inner ones to stack inside. So, but we're going to make this one pretty close tight because this is the middle row. So once you have the 4 little petals in a 3D form, you're going to put on the proper right side another little drop of glue, hold it in place. Why I like hot glue, it goes quickly. Another piece of glue. Another piece of glue. Now somebody asked me, one of the questions I particularly found enjoyable is, what does my daily life look like at FIDM as a FIDM Museum Collections Manager? And the question is, it is so different every day. I could walk into work and be working on a totally different project than I worked on the day before. And my boss could walk in and I'll be working on a totally different project after that. And so for me, I'm one who loves exploring and being creative and doing also very practical and logical organizational things. I kind of work with both sides of my brain in that way. And so I like the versatility of walking into work and seeing, doing something different. And then the next day walking in and packing boxes so that they could ship out for an order that goes out the next day. And then, working on exhibition, be it another season. So as far as my job, it is always different. And as soon as there's a regularity to it, something will come across and it will be different again. So what does my daily life look like? Great question. There is no daily recommendation, but somebody also asked, how do I stay creative? And I think that's one of the ways I stay creative is I'm always given challenges and always given kind of obstacles to have to overcome. And in that, it provides me the opportunity to explore different ways to get things done and thus be creative. Okay, so we have our 3 different levels, bottom, middle, and top. Now you create smaller ones by doing just middle and top, or you could create bigger ones by making these pattern pieces bigger, but that's for you to explore. We're just giving you the pattern pieces for middle, and then we also have some round flowers patterns and leaf patterns, which I'll go over in 2 seconds. So to create these as a flower, you put a little drop of glue at the center of the bottom one. Now when you're putting this on top, be careful not that the glue doesn't go through and burn your finger. Slight recommendation that I might have learned from experience. And then you put another little piece of glue here. Now, as far as the center goes, you could use whatever you like, and this is one of the areas in which you can be creative. I like buttons. I think buttons look really cool, but you use a little pom-pom, you can use a bead, you can use, I think some of them, I use cut off the tips of thumbtacks. Really explore, be creative. I think like a little drop of glitter glue might be really cute. So it's kind of one of those areas that you can be creative. But here we have a button. This one's a nice little yellow button. A very practical flower style, and we're putting that at the center of it. And thus you have a pretty little flower. It kind of almost looks like a lily pond flower. And then we're going to have our leaf here. It's just the same as the flower where we fold this over and get an angle that you kind of like. Now to make this a functional object, as I said, there's multiple different ways. And so we have, be it corsage, hair clip, another hair clip. I have a headband. I saw somebody do one that was a curtain ties. That sounds cute, and I want to actually copy that. I have my board behind me as an inspiration for you. Really, as far as application, I thought gluing them onto flip-flops might be cute. Really, whatever you like. It's just applying it to something that would be practical and something that either your child could show off or something that you personally could show off. I could see making really cute earrings. Sky's the limit. That's the fun about being creative, is it makes a very limitless world. So we're gonna apply the leaf to the bottom of this flower. And then I have a little popsicle stick and that I've cut down to a size that I like. Put a little bit of glue on top of that. Glue that on top of there. And we're going to make this into corsage. So I have just a regular safety pin. Make sure it's not the side that opens. But you put a kind of a thicker glob of glue on the back there. Hold that in place. And then I put a little bit of glue on top. So that is a way they create a corsage. And also a way to kind of give another texture is you can curl the flowers around and make it that way. So that is a nice little corsage, which kind of almost matches an outfit. As for some other questions that were asked, can you do other things with paper? Of course, you can do many things with paper. There's been many things that have been done with paper throughout history. Crazy amount of stuff. But it's great that somebody asked that of me. I also am one of the creators of the paper wigs that we have in the museum, which are kind of very popular and have taken off. So when you go to the shows, you'll see white paper wigs on our mannequins, and I have the privilege of working on those. And that's another way that we use paper. I've seen paper used for multiple different things, though. So this is just one of them. Maybe one of these days I'll go over how to make paper wigs too. And so one of the other questions we have is, what is the most fun thing that I've been able to work on? Which is crazy because I have so many different outlets I like being creative with. And another people ask us, how do you keep creative? And I go, just play, do something, work with your hands and try to make something better. Make it pretty, make it work better, make it improve it. If you see even a piece of furniture on the side of the road is dangerous for me because I will be like, ooh, how can I make that pretty and new again? Just taking what you have and making it better. even if we're trapped in our house, it just means we can make our house better. And I don't see why this should be any different. And I think this is also across many jobs. I don't see why any job you can't come in and try to be creative. A scientist is creative with creating new experiments and new ways that they can solve problems. A mechanic is being creative with how he can fix or she can fix a car. It is also across many different spectrums of fields. But as far as back to the question about my favorite projects that I've done so many that I can't choose. I've enjoyed doing things for this exhibition. We did Fashion Philanthropy, was one of the exhibitions we have, where Peter Lamb created walls covered with white flowers made out of paper. It was huge and gorgeous. And with that project, I was able to create silk flower paper wig hats for each of the mannequins. And that was fun. I have a floristry background, and so as one of my hobbies, and to be able to play with those was a lot of fun. But I've done things like creating a huge mount for Queen Victoria, and I do wood carving, and I do a whole bunch of sewing and a lot of different things. So for me to narrow down to just one thing that I've done that I think is like the highlight of my life, I think would be very limiting on my life. I don't think I've achieved that. I hope I never will, but I enjoy every project I've been getting, and I see it as a challenge, and I see it as an inspiration to do better and more. So I think I've covered more time than I need to, but thank you all for your questions, and I hope this has been helpful, and please feel free to contact us if you have any more.